Welcome to I Am Sure Sports. I am Omar Stennett. They also call me Man in His Man. I hope you're having a great day wherever you're watching us from. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, please take some time and do so now. We really enjoy the partnership that we have with all our subscribers. We're past the 1000K mark and we aspire in short order to surpass 1500 subscribers. So we need another 400 and at the last time I checked, around 440. And you could invite someone to be a part of this and join the I Am Sure team. Again, please, we encourage you at all times to remain safe wherever you are watching us from. Remember to sanitize, social distance, and wear your mask as best as possible. And think about the well-being of others. It's the end of the track and field season, so we're going to speak a little bit about that, the beginning of the NFL season. So we're going to give you some more details on that. And football is always happening in Jamaica and also happening across Europe. So we're going to speak to you a little bit about that. We have a rugby team in Jamaica that they are doing well, won their first series. So there's a lot of sporting things going on. But let me just share with the local football fans that by the time you get this video, the second round of the playoff ties in the Jamaica Premier League would have taken place. We have made some picks and we want to share that with you. So let me begin right there. All right, with the picks. Just go and get this to make sure that we give you accurate information. So Mount Pleasant, they go into the second leg of their tie, leading Harborview by 3-1. And so from all indication, Mount Pleasant are sure to make it through to the semifinals, where they will now meet Waterhouse in the semifinals. The other tie is kind of more unpredictable given the state of that game. The first game ended 0-0 between Tivoli Gardens and Very United. A very good game. Both teams had opportunities to win it, but we had predicted that this game will go right into penalties. And that we don't know. But I think the greater level of talent lies with the Tivoli Gardens team. And so we are predicting them to come through, where they will come through and meet Cavaliers in the semifinals. And as we said previously, we believe, based on the matchups and what we have seen over the last couple of seasons, is that Mount Pleasant and Cavaliers will somehow meet in the finals. If that happens, we will come back and give you some update on that. One of our reggae boys, Shamar Nicholson, Bowser, he has scored the 2 goals that Jamaica scored in the qualifiers. He suffered a broken bone playing for his club team over there in Belgium, and he has surgery today, Wednesday. And we are hoping that by the time the qualifiers comes about in October, at least for the home game on October 10th, that he will be available to play, because he's needed. Though we have other forwards, but I think he's a very critical part of Coach Whitmore's plans in terms of the World Cup qualifiers. So we're looking for him to have a quick recovery. As I know, Coach Whitmore depends on him a lot as a point man up there leading the line. Right, so speedy recovery, Shamar. I know your family praying for you. We are praying for you. I am praying for you. And very unfortunate, because he had just, gotten into some good form. I hope this doesn't slow him down, because I believe if he excels in this league this season, and it is possible that he could move over into England, where I think he'd thrive in England because of the quality of his play. He's still fairly young as well. He's under 25, which means that he is not yet at his peak. And so club looking to invest in young talent. He's someone that they could look to develop over a couple of years and then possibly sell on for a greater fee in the future. So just wanted to throw that in terms of just news that I think is important. There was also a player, his name is Greg Lee. He has been out of the national team because he had some injuries, but now he has actually recovered, and we're looking to have him for our next set of qualifiers. That is the game against the USA, the one against Canada and Honduras. We're hoping that he will be called into the squad. He plays on the left side of defense, and we need better cover for Kemar Taxi Lawrence because he could get injured or be carded, and then I don't think we have a left-sided defender in terms of on the wing-back area except for Kemar Lawrence at this time. So Greg Lee, well, there's Amari Bell, but I think Greg Lee is right up there with both players. So that's also some good news that we want to share with you as well. Now let's get into what is happening in Europe. Arsenal have rebounded from their poor start. You know, I had to put a little Arsenal in there because I'm a die-hearted Arsenal fan. And so they have won 2 games in a row, but they have the North London Derby this weekend where they will be playing against Tottenham Hotspur, who are on a 2-game losing streak in the league. And this is a very important game because if Arsenal were to win this, they would come to 9 points and they'll be tied on points with Spurs, but they'll be still way behind Spurs in terms of the goal difference because they conceded so many goals in the first 3 games that they lost. All right, so good run of form that they are on. They also have a game in the cup against AFC Wimbledon that we're expecting that they will easily win, though Everton were knocked out of that on penalties. So they're not expecting any surprises in the league. Like I told people, the 2 teams that I expect to be at the top of the table when the season comes to a close will be Chelsea and Liverpool, and I'm predicting that Chelsea will win the league. City is going to be up and about there, but these 2 teams I think at some point going to pull away. They have a superior talent at this time in the league. People are speaking about Manchester United, but I think that the coaching situation at Manchester United is a problem. I think they have a very talented crop of players, but I don't know if the coach is as astute enough, I believe, to bring about the best result for that team. So I would not select them, not because of talent, but because of the pedigree of their coach. I think he's lacking something in terms of his tactical awareness and how to make adjustments. And I'm not sure that all the players rate him highly. There are certain coaches who are good coaches, but the real big star players, don't rate them, and I think that is one of the problems like a Messi is having out there in PSG with Mauricio Pochettino. I don't know if Neymar and the Mbappes of this world rate a coach like that. Sometimes when you're a big player, you have to have one of those big time coaches. It's just like in the basketball. If you look at basketball, there's a certain level of respect that coaches like Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, they get a certain level of respect because Pat Riley, while he was coaching, just because of their pedigree and the success that they have had as coaches, that a new coach sometimes don't have that same level of respect, and that's a genuine thing out there. And I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is suffering from this, and it may also impact Manchester United's bid to finish in the top 3 at least. There's a group of teams that I think going to be battling for 4th place, and I think they are in that group, and that includes them. It includes the Tottenham and the Arsenals of this world. I think though Brighton has a good start, they're going to tumble all the way down. That's just the way the Premier League works. Early season form don't mean you're going to win the title. It means you started well and it may be able to keep you in the league. But outside of that, there's no real great value to it anyways. And so we look at that, and they also suffered a very humiliating defeat in the Champions League. They were defeated 2-1 by Young Boys. I mean, that was a very surprising result, though they were playing with 10 men. Jess Lingard made a very bad pass, but he rebounded on the weekend, or in the week, when he scored for them, as they were able to defeat West Ham in a game that I thought they could have gotten 2 penalties, but I told you earlier this year that VAR is very atrocious refereeing, and I believe that there's an anti-referee movement. There's some referees who are anti-VAR. They are anti-VAR, not ant as A-U-N-T, but A-N-T-I. They are against VAR, And I think as they officiate game, they do things, I think, sometimes it strikes me in England that I think the officials do things to show up that VAR is flawed and must be taken out of the game, because some of the things are so ridiculous. I mean, the referees they can't be that bad. It must be that they're trying to show up that VAR ought not to be in football, because I can't picture a professional or a person who's supposed to be a professional with all the video evidence that they have is so poor at the job that they're supposed to do. So maybe this is a big conspiracy, but VAR is very atrocious refereeing. It makes the referees look worse than before, and the referees are trying to make it look bad. That's the only logical, sensible reasoning out there. Yeah, well, with that being said, I'm going to move over into some track and field. Remember, if you have not yet, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button. Please, right now, go ahead and do that. I have some more juicy information that I'm going to share with you. Check us out also on I Read Times TV. You don't want to miss that. Go over there, give them some love, let them know that you heard about them on I Am Sure Sports. Yeah, Judith and Michael, big up on yourself. All right. Now, the track and field season has really come to an end. Very exciting end with Elaine Thompson. Dominating the season. She dominated the season, and only Jamaicans defeated Elaine Thompson at Jamaican, Shelley and Fraser Price. The only person she really lost to is really Shelley and Fraser Price in the races that matter. She's a beast, and she's on a trajectory that will take her to be one of the greatest sprinters of all time in terms of female sprinting, and the greatest female sprinter of all time. If she could take this sort of form into the World Championships and wins the double there and the relay medal, bam, up there with Usain Bolt. If she can get the 100-meter record and the 200-meter record, I think by all indication in terms of what she has accomplished, over the board. Trust me, this is tremendous, great season. Can you imagine if she never had all these Achilles injuries over the years? She has been set back at least 2 full seasons because of this. But nothing before its time. Excellent performance. Hey, guess what? And also, it seemed like marriage has something to do with it, because since she has gotten married, man, she's been on fire. Yes. I think. Listen, I don't know Elaine. I don't know her personally, but I think if she goes to the World Championship and she dominates, then the size of the belly is going to get bigger. I know. Because she said, I did that. I have all of these. It's time to, like Shelly, take a year and bring, well, it can't be Zion because Shelly has Zion. So maybe Elaine will bring Lion. Zion I'm going to be iron like a lion in Zion. Maybe Elaine will be lion. Don't know. just a thought. But great season for her. Good season I think for Sharika, but because of the mishap at the Olympics, I think she could have had a better season. Some people are saying this is her greatest season. I don't put greatness so far. I don't put greatness and things like that because I don't classify her season as great. I would say it is her best season. It's not her greatest season because there is nothing great about her season. When you look at where she can go, they'll be better. So I can't call it her greatest. It is her best because she could have had a better season. She had a mishap at the Olympics in the 200 meters where she should have and could have and probably would have won a medal. It never happened. And then I think she overran at the back end of the Olympics into the Diamond League. And I think that happened because I think the first time when Christine Mboma beat her, I think she felt like she needed to run her again to beat her, and she lost. And then she said, I'm going to run her again to beat her. And because Sharika is very competitive, she's a very competitive young lady. And if she don't respect you, she don't think you're supposed to beat her. And I don't think she, up to that point, she had a high level of respect for Christine Mboma. But now that she probably lost 3 times, she will sit down, look back, visualize, and then come back and challenge Christine Mboma. Now, many people are saying that Christine Mboma she's going to be one of those undefeated, undisputed 200-meter champion. Let me remind you that she still has not beaten Elaine, and her personal best is far from Elaine's personal best in the 200 meters. And I think that Sharika is going to learn the race and going to come back, and it's going to be competitive, very, very competitive. I see Gabby Thomas from the United States coming along as well and stepping up. The one person that I'm not sure about is Sha'Carri Richardson. I think like she's going to, there's a stagnation that is supposed to take place, because I think she has more, her mouth speed is greater than her foot speed. Like she speaks faster than she runs. And what she needs to do is to run faster than she speaks. Like there's times when you hear the legend speak like a Usain Bolt, you just zip it. You zip it. Put a zipper on your lipper. And then you lace your shoes and your spikes and you run. You win some races, but don't come out and try to diss the legend maybe because you have some little jokers in your camp who like to talk. Don't follow those jokers. Don't follow them. I mean, there are many top athletes out there. You think you're going to get up and break into any of these things? You think you're going to break into... Listen, Shelly is going to be around next year. Elaine is going to be around next year. I want you to know as well that Sharika is going to be around next year. Gabby Thomas is going to be around. Oliver is going to be around. Dean Asher Simmons is going to be around. Christine Mboma are going to be around. Tia Clayton, Brianna Williams, Kemba Walker. There are many athletes who are going to be around. So don't feel like your time is now. And you're talking so much. In the 100 or in the 200, you're going to have some serious battles and struggles. Sha'Carri Richardson. So this is going to be, I think this is one of the best seasons, I think, ever in female sprinting, in terms of a Jamaican perspective. Very great season in terms of the accomplishment. I mean, just this weekly, monthly, big event competition between Shelley and Fraser Price and Elaine Thompson Hero was a delight for Jamaicans and people all over the world. And so Shelley has one up because the last race, she defeated her. Listen, whoever runs Shelley Ann's marketing and PR, they are using some wisdom. They are playing their cards right. They are doing stuff right. And I know that because of that, I mean, it's going to make the meetings between her and Elaine even more competitive. Great track and field season. I want to also call out Hansa Parchment. He had a good season. Just speaking about some Jamaicans. I mean, Broadbell was doing well, then he got injured. Gail. I mean, I think Gail was affected at the back end of his season by injuries, but Gail also, the long jumper, he had a good season. Our throws didn't do well this season, but they are going to rebound. I think Dacres had a couple of surgeries as well, so he struggled. But our hurdlers did extremely well. The sprint hurdlers, Megan Tapper, Brittany Anderson, you understand, Akira Nugent, you have the Tia Claytons who did well. Our 4x1 team at the Olympics and at the World Youth Championship did well. On the male side, we have, I tell people, like, people believe that Jamaica is the sprint capital of the world on the male side. Let me get some of this liquid nitro. Liquid nitro up my face, yeah. I must be cool like cucumber for these videos. See? You like coolness. You know? Yeah. Woo. Yeah. Back to regular programming. Right. But listen, I tell people that Jamaica is not a sprint dominant male, like a male sprint dominant country. We have produced good quarter milers and produced some good sprinters. We had a 10-year period where Usain Bolt, Asafa Powell, Ewan Blake, Nesta Carter, Nickel Ashmead, Michael Frater, all of these guys were coming through. Warren Weir, you want to look at persons who probably, Odin Skeen and Ford, all of these guys were coming through. Good time, all right? But it is not common that we have that. You normally find like a Ray Stewart or a Donald Quarry. We would produce generally, until Asafa Powell, Ewan Blake, and Usain Bolt, would generally produce a 1 and 2 male dominant sprinters. On the female side, however, we have always done well. You even check from the Merlin Attis, the Juliet Cuthbert, we have always done well. I'm talking about at the global international level. I'm not talking about the Cariftas where we normally dominate Carifta games and those things. But when it comes to male sprinting, we have not been dominant. And so there is going to be a struggle. Right now, we could be 10 years in the wilderness in terms of any global medals in sprinting in the 1-2. When I look around, I see Oblique Seville, who is still way off some of the top men in his age group. See Brian Lavelle coming through. He's still way off. I mean, these guys, like Lavelle, struggled at the World Youth. I see a Sachin Dennis. I hope that he will come to the fore because I think he is a better, brighter prospect than all of them. But he seems to be consistently be plagued by injuries. But when you really look, you don't have a lot of quality. We may have some 400 meters when you look at the Christopher Taylor, Antonio Watson, Giovanni James, Akeem Bloomfield. These are pretty young men who will come, I think, do well in the 400 meters and possibly the 200 meters. We have some very good hurdlers because you haven't spoken about Orlando Bennett. We have some hurdlers coming through, but on the sprinting side for the males, we could go through one of those periods where every now and then we may get a bronze medal from a one person, and that may be it, and we have to accept that. What we will always have is on the female side of things, Jamaica has consistently produced finalists at the global championship and medalists. Sherika Jackson, Karen Stewart, I mean, so many. Veronica Campbell Brown, right? So many. We have always done that. And so we need to remember that. And so we can be very hard on our male athletes because we think about Usain Bolt. That's only one. And Asafa Powell and all of these guys, it probably would have been better if they were born in different eras. Well, would they have been that good? I don't know. But yeah, it's not an easy road. I also believe that at the high school level, we need to load manage better. When we find the talents, I think parents need to be careful of the scholarship they allow their kids to take into some of these schools that overwork them for the purpose of bragging rights. That's really what it is. The only reason why some athletes run themselves to a wreck in some of our high school programs is for bragging rights. It's not for financial gain because the amount of money they spend, they don't make it back. It's just to say, my school. It's not about the athlete. It's not to help the athlete to secure the best possible future in the sport. It is really to say, my school, a big school. I am a this man. I am a, from this school, that school. That's really what it's about. Truth is, I think we have in our own selfish ambition have destroyed many good prospects in Jamaica. And we have to seriously, as adults, look at ourselves and decide that, listen, it needs to stop. We need to look about these athletes and see how best. Want me to give you names? You heard about Ramon McKenzie? This guy was dominant. What has happened to him? Michael Aharo. What's happened to him? Some of these guys have Javon Francis. What's happened to these guys? They have just fallen off the radar. Fallen off the radar. Fallen off the radar. And a lot of these guys, if you go back to their champs career, even in injury, they were representing their school and running in races. We have to stop. Remember this guy named Siku Clark? I mean, guy was a good quarter mile, I remember one champs, the man was tied up his calves, his thighs, his ankles, his arms, his neck. And he was still running. And I'm saying that, what is the purpose of all of this? And you do all of that and your team still don't win. What bragging rights do you get? There's no need for that. And it has to stop if we want to preserve our track and field heritage. It's not as much on the girls' side. It used to be, but I think that is changing. And I find it that girls are less likely to do that. I guess because when a girl is injured, she's injured. But men like to be tough. Let me just segue into a little NFL. Listen, Tom Brady's at it again. Tom Shady. But I don't want to big up Tom Brady and all you fans of Tampa Bay. People don't follow certain teams, They just follow certain athletes. So Tom Brady was in New England. Bam, they are now. He's in Tampa Bay. Everybody is following Tom Brady. Listen, stick to a team and not a player. Which team do you follow? Listen, I'm an Arsenal fan. I support Arsenal. Support a team. I don't like this debate about Tom Brady. Which team do you support? Which team do you support? That's what I want to discuss. Let's talk about your team versus my team, not Tom Brady. So now, you see all of you people who are Barcelona fans, come and talk to me. Don't tell me that you're supporting PSG. You are never PSG fans. Now, the one game that I liked over the last weekend in the NFL was that Lamar Jackson versus Patrick Mahomes. Listen, let me tell you something. From McNabb days and all of these guys, the Cam Newton, a lot of these guys as let me say this, African American quarterbacks, they like the running game. They don't like, meaning they like to run with the ball. Lamar Jackson is a beast. That was a very, very good game. And the Baltimore Ravens defeated Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, who I have picked to be in the Super Bowl final again. But I'm telling you something, this guy Lamar Jackson, he is good. He is good, and there are some very good quarterbacks in the league, I must tell you. So it's going to be an exciting NFL season, people. We're gonna have comprehensive coverage and details on it as the season progresses. Great season it's going to be. But that Baltimore game against Kansas City, that Baltimore one, great game. If you can, look at the highlights. I love it. Lamar Jackson, LJ, big up yourself and you need defeat Patrick Mahomes. I don't like that. I hope when they catch Tom Brady, you do the same thing. I also want to tell the people, I don't think quarterbacks, listen, when you look at NFL, are quarterbacks overrated? Think about it. When defense win the game, how quarterbacks get the credit? But that's a debate for our next show. Again, thank you for tuning in to I Am Sure Sports. It was my pleasure to have you for these 30 or so minutes watching, staying tuned. No animation, no excitement, just raw facts out there for you to analyze and think about and discuss and make a comment on. Again, remember, like, subscribe, and share. We appreciate and respect all the love that we are getting. Check us out on Irie Times TV. Please stay safe. I want to do the next video knowing you are watching it. So stay safe. Please stay safe. Do what is right. no matter the cost, no matter the circumstances, for there is always a good reward in that. I am Omar Stennett and I'm over and I am OUP.